You know, I think that was one of the best convos I've seen here.
Don't you suppose that's because it's one of the last ones you'll see?
Could be, but it was very good.
Yes, it was. When am I going to see you again?
What's that got to do with the convo?
Don't try to change the subject.
Hold it.
School's almost out.
And so am I.
That's the point. There's only a week to go. Won't you miss anything when you're gone?
Sure. I'll miss the... Well, I'll miss the chimes. From now on, I'll have to look at my watch to see what time it is.
You won't miss anything else?
I hate to see a woman work. Yes, I'll miss you. You know, I will miss this place.
So will I. I got in a real low mood tonight waiting for you to come over. I was just thinking I'll miss you and Purdue. The dances and parties.
And football games, B-square, classes.
Parties and basketball.
And the welcomes. I wonder how many man-hours I spent welcoming freshmen. Those guys got welcomed and welcomed and welcomed and welcomed and welcomed and welcomed.
That's quite right. They did get welcomed and welcomed and welcomed. And the first welcome came at the freshman orientation meeting.
Just in case it makes any difference, my name is Al Stewart. I should like to tell you that you are now seated in the largest theater in the world and one we are very, very proud of. I want to count three. 1, 2, 3, go, and I want every one of you to shake hands with the person right straight behind you. 1, 2, 3, go. That constitutes your first lesson. If we ever find a freshman class that will figure that one out before we count 1, 2, 3, and not turn around, you see, then we're all going to quit. Because you'll be far too smart, but you're all right. You'll be all right. I got a gal and you got none. Here we go now. I got a gal and you got none, little Liza Jane. Come on. That's fine, but you're supposed to sing it too when you do it. All three, feet, hands, and voice. Then when we come to the chorus, let's have an old Southern camp meeting. You know, you're so full of emotion, you got to do something about it. So you all jump on your feet, throw your hands in the air on the O, and shout, "Oh!" Sit down, Eliza, little Liza Jane. Up again, oh! Here we go. I got a gal and you got none, little Liza Jane. Come, my love, and be my one, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Now, little Liza Jane. Ah, wonderful. That's fine.
The freshmen were quite loosened up by that, and they jumped into the activities at Purdue with characteristic freshman fervor. They worked on everything. For instance, the card section in one of their practices.
All right, now let's try it. Everyone get the color they have opposite number 1 and put it on your lap, ready to be flashed. And make sure that the color that's up in the air is the color opposite number 1. Make sure of that. That's important. Okay, you ready to go? All right. Down. Flash. Great. It's great. It really is.
And, of course, the freshmen decided they could out-yell the rest of the stadium. and they had their chance to prove it at the first game. But Purdue lost that game. It was Notre Dame 12-0. The Boilermakers lost the second game, too. Minnesota pulled 21 to Purdue 17, but Purdue showed its potential when it picked up its last 7 points in the last 5 seconds.
Solis downed him, and now the ball's down on the 7-yard line with Tommy Fletcher out on the wing to the right. Here's the call. Jones fades to throw. He's going to run. He's at the 5. Hit down on the 4-yard line. Man, he was submarine, knocked way up in the air by a charge of a gopher. Brody Tuska, who submarined, and Jones is down on the 4. 20 seconds left to go. The Boilermakers can't take timeout. They're going to have to hustle, and they're claiming an injury, I think, or trying to. 12 seconds left. They've got to hurry. Jones is talking to them. The ball's on the 4-yard line of Minnesota. Purdue has one more chance. 5 seconds. Here's the call. Jones keeps. Throws it in there. A wobbler. Intercepted, I believe. Let's see. It's a touchdown. A touchdown for Purdue, caught by Fran Anastasia. No time left in the ball game. The score is 20-16, and the Boilermakers will try for the point after the clock has run out. No chance for the Boilermakers to win it, but what a gallant try that was. Man, oh man, they got a touchdown with no seconds left, and I think that ball was bobbled. Anastasia made a circus catch nearly on his back in the end zone. Here comes the try for point after. Tommy Fletcher will kick. And boy, these Boilermakers have been tough. Here's the boot. It's up. It is good. And it's 21-17 final score. Don't fail to meet these guys at the airport. They were great even in defeat today.
After such a slow start, Purdue really came into its own by being on the 20 side of a 20-13 score in Michigan State's own hometown.
Here they come. They weren't dismayed with that last penalty. Hit twice in a row. It looks as though the Boilermakers aren't supposed to go against the number 1 team. There's the draw play up the middle. Mike gets the block. He's at the 25, the 15, the 10, the 5, and Mike carries a man into the end zone with him. Touchdown. Touchdown for Purdue. And that is tremendous team spirit. 2 successive penalties. The Boilermakers bounced back as though nothing had happened. They lead 20-7. Purdue 20, Michigan State 7. Kenny Mikes ran the draw beautifully. Carried a man the last 5 yards with him. What man was it, Larry, that he carried? Jim Minowski rode on Mike's back for 5 yards as the Boilermakers score a touchdown with a quick comeback play after the second penalty in a row. 11 minutes. 10 minutes.
The students at the game waited impatiently for the end.
4 minutes. 3. 2 minutes. 1 minute. 30 seconds. 19 seconds left to go in the ball game. Fichtner calls for Purdue. Here's the give to Jarris. He's hit. Gets nowhere. He doesn't try. All he tries to do is hold that football. 13, 12 left, and the clock is still moving. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Purdue beats Michigan State 20-13. I don't think the Boilermakers talked about anything in that huddle except what do we do when the gun goes off? And out on the field, a tremendous crowd of
At home, the students showed their appreciation of a good team with an inspired celebration, which brought out not only the victory bell, but also most of the students in Purdue. The students proceeded to wake up the town in fine style. Starting at Carey Hall, next to the Bell House, and picking up more students, cars, and momentum, they crowded the streets outside of the fraternities and sororities, winding through West Lafayette and ending at the women's dorms. Ending? Well, not quite. From there, they proceeded into Lafayette. That day, everyone knew that the Purdue team was tops, with Purdue. Purdue finished the season with a tie for fourth in the conference, a record of 5 won and 4 lost, and one more Block P on the old oaken bucket. To prepare for that final game and present the proper spirit, Purdue cremated Miss Indiana in their traditional manner at the Indiana Pep Rally.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in solemn ceremony to witness the final rites for one who died of a broken heart. It is inevitable that she should have come to this well-deserved end. For even in the memory of the oldest, gray-bearded, Purdue Forever Club member among you, victory has had no meaning for her. For many years, she was a powerful witch, exerting her powers from time to time throughout all the realm of the Big Ten. But she has been so long on the bottom of the heap that only last year the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce awarded her the title of Miss Pancake of the 20th century.
Purdue was after the old oaken bucket, and Purdue got it with a 35-13 win over Indiana in a game full of several kinds of excitement.
Here's the boot. An end-over-end low bouncer going on down to the 40-yard line. Take up by Kenny Mike. He drops it, picks it up, goes wide. He's hit, gets away at the 35, comes back this way. The same man got up and brought him down. The first man that hit him fell off him. Mike's came right back. That guy got up and cracked him again, and it's Delner Gales that made the tackle back there on the 37-yard line of the Boilermakers. The 33-yard kick by Tom Kendrick for Indiana. A low end-over-end boot that Kenny Mike's handled, started to run wide to his right, and stopped as he shook off that first tackler, came back. The Boilermakers ready. Here's a pitch out. Bobby Screw over to Mike, sweeping wide to the left. He gets the block. He's away at the 35-yard line, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. Another block, and he goes, can't go all the way. He's ahead of that Indiana man, going to go all the way. Kenny Mike scores, standing up. Nobody had a hand on Kenny that time. He went something like 63 yards for that touchdown. Kenny Mike from scrimmage.
The end of the season came with the award to the most valuable player.
And this year, through the cooperation of the Alumni Association, we're reviving something that used to go on, as I understand it, at Purdue prior to the war. The Alumni Association is giving this beautiful watch to the most valuable player. And believe me, it ought to be set in diamonds. For the most valuable player this year at Purdue University, our co-captain, Neil Habig.
Football weekends were memorable for many reasons. Victory Varieties helped to fill up the Saturdays with personalities like Bob Hope, Jerry Colonna, Edie Gourmet, and a host of other attractions. Usually, when these performers stopped between shows, they were besieged with the campus reporters.
Could I ask how much of this show tonight was planned? Your part of it, I mean?
I tell you, I've been touring for about a month, playing Toronto, the exhibition, and Eastern States Exposition, and Washington, Carter Barron Theater. And I've had a lot of material, and I've tried to edit it tonight. And the only time I was really stuck was when I got down to the 3 eggs and the rasher bacon, which I've done here about 4 times. And I really didn't have time. I had to work hard this afternoon to pay off my football bets. But I'm not sour. I won't say I'm not a sore loser. I'll be all right in 2 or 3 days if I just get my Serotan on time.
Bob Hope, one of the best around. Purdue had many of the best. Edie Gourmet answered her share of intermission questions, including one about her future husband.
Hope you'll pardon a personal question. Your name has been linked with Steve Lawrence.
Uh-huh.
And could you clarify this linkage any?
Well, in what way?
One way or the other.
Well, you know, make yourself understood.
Oh, well, are you engaged to Steve Lawrence?
Well, we're not quite engaged, but we do see a lot of each other.
Oh, I see. Can you say anything about Steve Lawrence as a person? I'm sure if you see a lot of each other.
I'm inclined to be just a bit prejudiced, but I might say that he's a beautiful human being. He's a wonderful person, he's a great talent, and he's very funny. He's an intrinsically funny person. He's really a clown. Not a clown in the buffoon sense of the word, but he has a wonderful sense of timing as far as comedy is concerned. I would say that I think he's the only person that I've ever known that really breaks up Steve Allen. He really knocks him out.
Well, that's a tough order.
Yeah, it is, but Steve just looks at Stevie and dies.
And right in the middle of the football festivities came the military ball. Students all over the campus began to prepare for this annual onslaught of the social season, which begins with an outlay of money.
Yes, I want to order it's sort of a crazy corsage. She wants it for her hair. And it's be composed of yellow flowers, 7 inches long, and about an inch and a half wide. She wants small yellow flowers of some sort.
We'll try to get it in the Sweetheart Rose. Would that be all right for you if we can get those?
Well, she wanted the yellow flower, definitely.
Well, it'd be in the yellow.
Roses would be all right. And she doesn't want it bent. She wants it in a perfectly straight.
Well, more likely it will come bent in the box, and then she can just straighten it right out.
Well, I mean, she'd prefer it not bent if you can do it that way. Because she's not going to wear it, I guess, around her hair. It's going to be some way with it, and it's going to be straight all the time.
Yellow?
Yellow flowers. Probably roses, or what else would be yellow?
Well, we'll probably, if we don't get the Sweetheart Rose, we'll probably have to split yellow carnations to make it.
That would probably be all right, too. About a 7-inch strip, inch and a half wide, and she prefers it straight if you can have it that way.
$2.75 out of 5. $2.75, 3, 4, and 5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Les Brown was there at the mill ball. He brought the band with him, and together they furnished the very danceable music.
fun was it? Dream a little.
With this, the Purdue men and women were deep in the heart of the fall semester. But the fall semester was more than football and fun. The students also found time for some things they didn't care for, Asian flu among them. The health center found itself with one of its biggest jobs. In an effort to keep the flu off the campus, shots were given to the students, but they didn't always come in time.
What are your symptoms? What do you feel like?
I feel weak all over.
Do you ache? Do your joints ache?
Yeah.
Muscles ache?
When I walk upstairs, I get dizzy. I walk
see.
up a couple flights of
Much
stairs.
headache?
No.
Feel a little full or anything, or just dizzy?
No, I'm just dizzy.
And eyes ache a little, I suppose, too,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. And are you coughing very much? What do you think starts up your cough?
Just a tickle.
Tickle in the throat.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
feel, you don't hurt
No,
down in here
I don't
or
feel like I have
anything?
a cold, actually.
But you just kind of ache all over and feel generally weak. Let's see what the throat looks like. No, not very important. And when you cough, you don't bring up anything, do you? Just a dry cough. Just take a quick listen, see if we get a clue to what that is. Well, it all adds up to a very nice picture of flu, there's no question about that.
The flu passed, leaving most of Purdue intact. But Purdue students were left with a few other memories. Sometimes even walking to class became a hardship, particularly during the winter. Most winters come in decently, with a little snow, some slush if it's warm enough, and semi-penetrating winds. At Purdue, all winters have completely penetrating winds and little slush because of the cold. But the snow is here, and it stays snow. Its crunch is a lonely sound, whether you are going to an 8 o'clock in the morning or to the library in the evening. Of course, even during the winter, there were other sounds accompanying the Purdue students to class. For instance, at noon, the pledges of the honoraries met, and their voices could be heard on the campus. Other voices could be heard on campus, voices normally not around, voices in the Hall of Music. The students at Purdue had many reasons to appreciate the Hall of Music. Here they heard and saw the Canadian Ballet, No Time for Sergeants, film lectures by Clifford Kamen, the Indianapolis Symphony, and the Christmas Convo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 24th Christmas Convocation at Purdue.
Tonight. Christmas, 1957. Today's lead story has been the headline story each December for 1,957 years. No other event has been front page for so long a time.
The cantata this year was the premiere performance of John A. McGee's Report from Bethlehem. It was written especially for presentation here at Purdue, and it presented a fitting and stirring finale for the Christmas Convocation and 1957.